Second down, 3. Giants ball in the Houston 44. We're approaching 3 minutes remaining in the third period. 87 yards for Johnson and 21 carries. Again, breaks away. Oh, miraculous balance. The balance of this man is unbelievable. You can't seem to knock him down.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, I saw a stat. It said, I'll leave a link in the description box. It's just on a Twitter. Somebody posted it on Twitter. For you to find out like exactly like all exact numbers and stuff like that and everything, you have to have like a subscription with this I forgot the name of the company here. Manage Games Lost. You click on that. There's a link here. You click on that, but to find numbers about the injury reports and all that stuff and everything, you need a subscription to it, a yearly subscription. It goes anywhere from like $50 to over $100. You know what I mean? So I didn't invest in any of that. So I just saw this one graph, this chart here that somebody posted, and I was just like. Simply, man. I mean, you figure over the past couple of years and all, I mean, the Giants have had some injuries, this, that, and the other thing, but, I mean, it said the Giants have, since 2009, they lead the NFL with man games lost, with like 3,000 man games lost since 2009, the last 13 seasons. Now, I mean, it makes you laugh. Joe Judge, said that, he does some training. The training is the way he does it is specifically, the training is to help players and I heard him say it once, heard him say it a million times, soft tissue injuries. So to prevent soft tissue injuries, there's a specific way that they train and push guys hard this day and give them a day off and then put them in or whatever. So whatever it is, to prevent soft tissue injuries. Well, the first year, 2020, he was here. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I looked on like the injury reports, and I didn't include guys. I mean, the guys I got on there, like 2020, they had 38 different guys listed on the injury report. 38. Now, the guys I included in the 38 were questionable, doubtful, whether on injury reserve or whether they were just out for the game. So those four things, that they had their name and they had one of those designations next to them, questionable, doubtful, injury reserve, or out. I added them in the list here. If they were just probable, I didn't include them in the list. Or if they had COVID, because that's not an injury, that's just So, because back in 2009 there was no COVID, So I wasn't including COVID. But 2020 they had 38 guys listed, 38 different guys. I mean, that's still a decent amount, but they had 2021. His team is training. Whatever his training was to prevent these soft tissue injuries like hamstrings and stuff like that, wasn't worth jack because the Giants had a grand total of 51 guys on the list. 51. That's an entire football team. That guys were listed at least for 1 week where they were either questionable, doubtful, out, or on the injury reserve. 51 guys. So in 2020 it was a little bit better, but still 38 guys. I mean, oh my goodness, absolutely horrible. But to be fair, it just hasn't been Joe Judge, right? we're going all the way back to 2009. So they've led the league in 2000. If you look at the thumbnail, for this video here, that's what the chart looks like. So I said I'll leave a link and you can check the graph and chart out, whatever yourself. But since 2009, they've lost 3,000 man games due to injury. That's 231 per year. So if you put 53 guys on a roster, right? It's 53 and 53, 53. That's 212. 212. So then they've missed almost 4.5 games of the full roster since the last 13 years. 231. Since 2009, there's been, they've had 3 GMs. I mean, Shane's the third one. I mean, they had Reese and Gettleman. Then there's been 5 head coaches. Whoever they draft to beat next will be whoever they select will be number 6. Now, of course, that includes Coughlin, McAdoo, Shermer, Judge, and Spagnuolo, who is in fact the last 4 games of the season. So I mean, it's a small bit, but I mean, so they've had GMs, they've had coaches. There's also been a complete personnel turnover since that time. So people have come and people have gone. Right. The only thing that remains the same is the injuries. Injuries still persist. Now, is it training? Is it the field? Is it too much training? Not the right training? Too little training? I mean, kind of hard to see that, but I mean, you think so. I mean, it's just like, why are we leading the league again in injury? I mean, it takes me back now. I was in high school. I wanted to play football, but then, I just turned into, I guess, I don't know, it just wasn't exciting anymore. I don't know what it was. I guess maybe playing when I was 10 or 11 was exciting, but then when I got to high school, I wasn't very good. You know what I mean? But I remember, we would practice before the season. We would have 3 days. The first practice, I think, was like about 8 o'clock in the morning. You'd have to get there around 7:30. 8 o'clock in the morning. It was like in August. It was like about 2 weeks before school started. And it was basically just to weed out the guys who didn't want to play. Now, first practice would be about 8 o'clock in the morning. Then we would get done around 10:30. We would go in, maybe you'd have lunch about 12 o'clock. You'd go back on the field again until about 2:30. Then I would have to ride my bike to school. At 2:30 you were done. I'd maybe grab a shower, put my clothes back on, leave my uniform there and everything like that. I'd ride my bike back home. I'd probably eat and take a nap. And by 6 o'clock I'd be back on the field again. From 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we were out there practicing again. We did this for 2 weeks straight. And then, in high school, you had guys playing offense and defense. Whoever the best players were, you wanted them on the field. They never came off the field. For 60 minutes. Well, it wasn't 60 minutes. It was like 48 minutes. I think 4 12-minute quarters, I think it was. But, you have guys, ACL tears or Achilles heel going. You came off the field for an injury, man. You probably weren't ever going to go back on the field. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. How did these guys make it to? I never missed any time. I hardly played, but I always practiced, and I didn't miss any time. I think the only time I missed was one time I had like heat stroke or something. I think I almost passed out. I was thrown up on the field. It was in the first week or two of practice. But I didn't miss any time. The only way you miss time is like maybe if you snap the bone or something. But I don't remember anybody missing time in high school. It's simply me, and they played the whole game. These guys go out there, practice for like an hour or two, and they're pulling hamstrings left and right. What the heck is going on? It's crazy. Now, Joe Shane intends to set out all right, on a journey to pinpoint the problems, and hopefully he'll fix them. Now, this is something, a little thing that Shane said. He was talking to Tiki and Tierney, and he's talking about this. He said, some of the issues around here in the past have been injuries. We need, we need to do a deep dive into that and make sure we're doing everything we can so these players can put their best foot forward on Sundays, Shane told Tiki and Tierney. Making sure the injury issues are capped will be a key part of the Giants' head coaching search as well. Are you going to, they have experts there, as far as training and all that stuff. And these guys, the players have to listen to him. He's like, are the players going to listen to Ronnie Barnes and the guys downstairs? I guess those are the trainers or whatever, right? Are they going to listen to the strength coach and do what he says? Are you going to listen to the sports performance when they tell you you need to pull back and don't keep pushing? Shane said. Don't expect a magical turnaround, especially given that Shane appears poised to keep Ronnie Barnes in company. He's been there through these injuries, so in place. But perhaps advancements in on-field analytical data will help ease the injury burden and send the recent trend in the opposite direction over the next few seasons. But it's like, since 2009, I went back. 2009, the Giants had 28 guys on the injury list. All right. 2010, they had 34. 2011, they had 35. 2012, they had 41 guys. 2013, they had 43 guys. 2014, 38. 2015, 41. 2016, they had 36. 2017, they had 55 guys listed on the injury report. 55 guys. 2018, they went down to only had 31. 2019, they had 42. 2020, we had 38. And this past year, we had 51. So 2 of the seasons since of the 13s from 2009, we had over 50 guys. 4 of the seasons, we had over 40 guys. 6 of the seasons, we had over 30. Unbelievable. There was only one season where we had under 30 guys. That was 2009. We had 28 guys. Now, if you look at this chart, okay, you'll notice the Giants are all the way on the right, which is where the most injured teams are. All the way to the left, a small little bubble, you'll see the Atlanta Falcons. In 2019, they had 19 guys. In 2010, they had 19 guys listed. 2011, they had 18 guys. 2012, they had 33. 2013, they had 30. 2014, they had 26. 2015, they had 27. 2016, they had 28 guys. 2017, they had 26. 2018, they had 22 guys. 2020, they had 24 guys. This year, they had a lot. They were 30. They had 32. This was the most they ever had, 32. So, but out of those 13 seasons, 2 of them they had in the teens. 2 of them. 6 seasons they had in the 20s. Giants had 1 season in the 20s, and the one was 28. So the Falcons have had 8 seasons that were lower than the Giants' their least injured season. The last 2 seasons, the Giants have had 89 guys total between the 2 seasons. The Falcons have had 56. And if you look at this graph, right, it also tells you 2 on there, right? If you look at it, the Giants are all the way to the one side, and their bubble is big. Atlanta is all the way to the other side, to the left, and their bubble is microscopic. And if you also look, it says the bubble size represents cumulative quality of missing players. So not only does Atlanta not miss any games, but their bubble is so small, so that means the quality of the players is small. So I don't know what they're doing, but they might want to maybe give them a call and see what the heck's going on in Atlanta. What's in the frickin' water down there? because you'll notice all the way on the one side, the Giants bubble actually looks like, I'm going to have to say probably New England and Green Bay, their bubbles are the worst. Theirs are the biggest. But you'll notice the Giants are right over the 3,000 line, and they got a nice sized bubble. So not only they lead the league, right, and Indianapolis is maybe about 2,900, but the Giants are at 3,000. So not only the Giants missing a lot, but their bubble is big. So they got the quality players like, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. I mean, obviously you can't see Eli Manning, from 2009 because he didn't miss any time. But I mean, quality players. Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, right? Blake Martinez, right? I mean, you can just go on and on and on, right? So, I mean, I don't know what the hell Atlanta's doing, but they might want to give him a call. Now, it's not so much all like it's a turf problem, obviously, as you point, turf-related injuries. Because there are 11 teams that are under the 2,000 games missed. 11 teams, right? Atlanta is at about 1,550. Minnesota is around 1,650. And Buffalo and the Rams. Okay, so there's 4 teams that are turf teams. The 2 least injured teams are turf teams. So you can't say it's specifically the turf. Now, I don't know if they got different types of turf. That I don't know. All right, but then you got there's 11 teams that have under 2,000 missed games. Right, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Arizona, Tennessee, Miami, and Chicago. They're all grass. All right, so 7 out of the 11 that have missed the fewest amount of games are on grass. But I mean, by far, the one that's missed the fewest is Atlanta, and they're on turf. And of course, some of the teams that have a lot of injuries, there's who have like New England. They've missed a lot of games. Green Bay's missed a lot of games. But some of the teams that have missed a lot of games that have also won, they all seem to kind of have one thing in common: good quarterback play. Now, New England, they've missed a lot of games, but of course they had Tom Brady. Green Bay seemed like they've missed at least about 2,500 games, but they've won a lot because of Aaron Rodgers. Seattle, they've lost maybe about 2,500 games, right? They've won a lot. Why? Well, Russell Wilson. New Orleans, they've missed probably about 2,600, I'm going to say. Well, they had Drew Brees. Baltimore, they missed probably about 2,750, somewhere around there. They got Jackson. They also had Flacco. All right, but they also had a great defense out too. So great. And Seattle too, great defense. Then you got as I said, with the great defense, you got Indianapolis. They missed about 2,900. Right, so they're right behind the Giants. They got about 2,900. The Giants got about 3,000 games missed. Now, Indianapolis, of course, they had Andrew Luck, and of course they had Peyton Manning too. So it seems like if you've missed a lot of games, your team's injured a lot, but you keep winning, seems like there's you got an unbelievable quarterback. I mean, Brady, Hall of Fame, Rodgers, Hall of Fame, Russell Wilson's going to go in the Hall of Fame, Drew Brees is in the Hall of Fame, Peyton Manning's going to be in the Hall of Fame, Andrew Luck, I mean, if he played a 15-year career, maybe he'd go in the Hall of Fame. Jackson from, the Ravens right now, if he keeps playing at this high level, he might go in the Hall of Fame. Flacco's not going in the Hall of Fame, but I mean, it seems like, but they said the Ravens had to have with Ray Lewis and all that. When they had Flacco, they had Ray Lewis. So they had a good defense. But I mean, so it seems like if you win a lot of games and you've had a lot of injuries, it seems like you got a good quarterback situation, and that's something that the Giants don't seem to have. And as I said, it's not even close. I mean, the Giants are around 3,000, and the Colts are like in second place. They got about 2,900. All right. Baltimore and Jacksonville, they both lost about 2,800 games. All right, as I said, Atlanta's like right around 1550, like just right around like half of what the Giants are. I mean, so I don't know what's going on in Atlanta, but I mean, you don't got to be a rocket scientist to figure out, success leaves clues. So there's got to be something that Atlanta and Minnesota, because it's like if you look at it, you look at the chart here, right, you got Atlanta and you got Minnesota, then all the other teams, are all kind of bunched together, right? I mean, it's like they're off on like their own little island. So, I mean, success leaves clues. There's something that, and I say, and it can't be the turf. Or unless it's a totally different turf than what isn't it is Dome Stadium, all right? Is a Dome Stadium, so maybe the Dome turf is different than the Giants turf, which is outside. Maybe, I mean that's a possibility, but success leaves clues. I said there's something that those guys are doing, all right, that the rest of the league needs to start doing. I mean, the Giants, you can look for a head coach, you can look for this, you can look for that, but if you just look at this chart, you don't got to be rocket scientists to figure out that the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings are really doing something really special to keep their players healthy. And the Giants want to have a good shot next year at maybe competing and seeing what Daniel Jones can do and all of that stuff. They might want to give Atlanta and Minnesota a call to see how the Giants can keep their players healthy for this upcoming season. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!